Good morning, or depending when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name is Ross, and as always told, I had a voice radio. So today, I am bringing you an exclusive translation of 2 new cards. Now, I say exclusive, what I mean is, as I sit down to record this, I do not see translations of this anywhere. Now, having said that, then maybe by the time this is posted, I hold out hope. Big shout out to Ryan Rolduck on Twitter, who hooked me up with images of these cards, and huge shout out to Antoine Boulay, who, as regular viewers will know, is a lovely man, because I sent him pictures, he translated them, we know what they do. There is a Mimikyu collection coming out in Japan in the very near future, and it has exclusive cards of both Mimikyu and Pikachu, and they're actually both kind of interesting. They're little basic Pokemon. I'm popping them into one video just because there's been a lot of new cards around, and we're a couple of videos behind because I was in Australia, so we're cheating just a little bit. But I'm sure you guys are going to be okay with this. Let's start off with Mimikyu, who is the more interesting of the two. Now, Mimikyu is a fairy Pokemon, so you get all the fun stuff like Fairy Garden, which is kind of nice. Fairy Garden is nice for the free retreat and all of that good stuff. 70 HP is fairly low, but to be honest, it is about what we would expect for a Mimikyu. I mean, certainly it's the same as the Guardians Rising Mimikyu, so it's to be expected. Retreat cost of 1 is quite nice because the main attack you'll be using here is for a single energy. No weakness is lovely. Ghost Pokemon do sometimes have no weakness in the trading card game. All in all, not terrible. Now, there are 2 attacks for this Mimikyu, but it really is the first one with which we are enamored. What you do for a single fairy energy is shuffle your hand into your deck and draw a number of cards equal to your opponent. It is like the old supporter copycat, but as an attack. Or, if you really want to go for a card that saw a huge amount of play back in the day, how about Chatot? Chatot from Majestic Dawn saw a huge amount of play back in around the Diamond and Pearl era, which had this exact attack on a basic Pokemon. Now, to be fair, Chatot was for a 0 energy rather than 1 energy, and Chatot had free retreat rather than 1 retreat, so they're 2 huge advantages that Chatot had which Mimikyu doesn't. Free attack is amazing, free retreat is amazing, so I'm not saying that Mimikyu is exactly as good as Chatot, it is a little bit worse. Although it doesn't have any weakness and it does have 10 more HP, so it could be worse. But it's a good attack. Is it the best attack for setting up? I'm not 100% sure. We've got some decent setup Pokemon at the moment. We've got Pokemon like Alolan Vulpix that allows you to search for any 2 Pokemon and put them into your hand for 0 energy. And certainly in terms of setup Pokemon at the moment, you've got to look pretty hard to find a better one than Alolan Vulpix. I'm not saying that Mimikyu necessarily is better than Alolan Vulpix, but I am saying that it is a good card and it is definitely worth considering. Sometimes you need a good setup attack. I talked on my podcast, also called PTCGRadio this week, about playing in an Ultra Prism only format just for funsies. And Dialga GX's Overclock was absolutely crucial in meaning I could draw enough cards to win all of my games. These setup attacks are good. Now, we do have a format at the moment where there's a whole bunch of Pokemon, Zoroark GX comes to mind, that just attack for a single energy, double colourless for Zoroark, on turn 2 after having just 1 turn to evolve. But then again, you still need an attack you can use going second. Some people do use the promo Tapu Koko that's got Flying Flip, spreads 20 damage to all of your opponent's Pokemon. It's nice to have a setup attack sometimes. Is Mimikyu worth playing just for the setup attack? Are we in a format at the moment where we really want these setup attacks? I'm not 100% convinced on either of those questions. But if you do want a decent setup attack, this attack from Mimikyu is really, really nice, and it is definitely one that you want to keep in mind. Second attack, Fairy and a Colourless. It's not particularly good. You do 20 damage, on a coin flip you do 40 damage. Not loving it. We talked about the Dene a little while ago, a few days ago, which if you've got a lightning Pokemon on the bench does 60 for a double colorless, which is 1 energy attachment. So if you want a fairy attacker, I really do think the Dene is the way to go. I'm not loving Mimikyu as an attacker. I love the artwork, it's gorgeous. I think the first attack as a setup attack is pretty good. I think the second attack would be pretty bad for 1 energy, to be honest. I should mention that you can use Gardevoir to get the second energy on there. But then again, if you're playing a Gardevoir deck, why are you not putting 2 energy on a Gardevoir to do a minimum of 60? Yeah. I love the first attack, second attack, I'm unconvinced. And that brings us to the Pikachu. Now, once again, the Pikachu artwork is amazing. Turns out he has finally met Mimikyu. And given that it is the Mimikyu collection, it's only fair that there is a Mimikyu in the artwork. So 60 HP is pretty bad. It's a multiple of 20. So anything like Tapu Koko, Decidueye, etc. will have a field day. Not to mention the fact that Buzzwole will get a very easy one-hit KO. Weakness to fighting sucks because of the aforementioned Buzzwole. Resistance to metal is always good, but then again, 60 HP. And retreat cost of 1 is unconvincing. The one thing I do like about Pikachu, however, it's got Nuzzle. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, flip a coin if heads the defending Pokemon is now paralyzed. And that's important because the Pachirisu from Ultra Prism has the ridiculously greatly named Snuggly Generator. For each of your bench Pokemon that has a Nuzzle attack, search for a Lightning Energy and attach it to that Pokemon. It's another Pokemon that you can use for Snuggly Generator. Now, there are both good and bad things about this. Good news, the current Pikachu we have that has Nuzzle was reprinted most recently in Generations, which means that when we see the rotation in September, I, for one, and I did a video about this, go check it out, am very much expecting to see Generations rotated, meaning we will lose the Nuzzle Pikachu and we will need a new Nuzzle Pikachu. This one, and it's very similar to the Generations Pikachu. Still got 60 HP, still got Nuzzle for a colorless energy. It's a very similar card. The thing is, I've talked about the difference between 60 and 70 HP a lot. With Pokemon like Tapu Koko, Decidueye, and especially Buzzwole, there is a big difference between 60 HP and 70 HP in the game at the moment. And we have the promo Pikachu that's had a bunch of different prints with different artwork that has 70 HP. That is crucial, ladies and gentlemen. If you want a Nuzzle Pikachu to use Snuggly Generator, this is brilliant, because it means that you're going to have a Snuggly Generator Pikachu, a Nuzzle Pikachu, after the rotation hits. But if you want the 70 HP Pikachu, which you may well want, then this new Pikachu is kind of irrelevant. Either way, it is a legitimately relevant Pikachu. It means that Snuggly Generator is going to keep working for Pikachu because you are going to have access to a Nuzzle Pikachu after the rotation. That's actually really potentially important. Now, the second attack on Pikachu is neither relevant nor important. You do 30 damage for 2 energy and you do 10 damage to yourself. For 2 energy. Firstly, this is expensive. Secondly, self-damage when you're already only doing 30 damage for 2 energy attachments? No. Not loving this at all. It will get a one-hit KO on a Piplup, if that's what you're really after, unless your opponent's playing the 70 HP Piplup. And why would they not be? No, ladies and gentlemen, I can't really pretend there's anything particularly good about this attack, but that's okay. We've got a Mimikyu that's got Copycat. That's pretty nice. And we got a Pikachu that's got Nuzzle, which is going to remain legal after rotation. As far as I'm concerned, although not the most amazing cards ever, this does make both of these Pokemon relevant. And, you know, I had the translations before anybody else. Why would I not make a video about this? The answer is, trick question, of course I'm going to make a video. You know the deal, ladies and gentlemen. When new cards come out, I make a video about it. That's how I'm wired. Let's just give each of these Pokemon a standard free Wassies. They might see play here and there. You should have a copy or two in your binder, but they're not terribly exciting cards, except for the artwork, which is beautiful. But as always, ladies and gentlemen, I want to hear from you guys, so let me know in the comment section. Go nuts! Be nice. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at the Wassie, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCGRadio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all that good stuff, you can do so over at patreon.com/PTCGRadio. But by far the most important thing, as always, is to look after yourselves until next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.